Okay, so this is clip 124 and it's adjusting numbers into correct standard form. As you can see, I've got 6 numbers there at the top and they all look like they're in standard form, but they're not. Okay, because remember our rule, we're only allowed to have one digit that isn't a 0 in front of the decimal point. So if I look at this, we can see that this is 42. So that isn't in correct standard form, okay? This one is 225. So again, that isn't in correct standard form. This one is 1.2. So one digit in front of the decimal point isn't a 0. That one's correct. Okay, we look at this one number in front of the decimal point. It's not a 0. So that one's correct. If we look at this one, there is only a single digit in front of the decimal point, but it's a 0. So that isn't in standard form. And the same for the last one. Okay, so sometimes when we do calculations, we can get numbers that end up not in correct standard form. So we've got to figure out how to adjust them. So let's look at those first two. Okay, the easiest way to do this is to look at that 42 and figure out how would I turn that into correct standard form. Well, from the last clips, we know that to turn that into correct standard form, I would have to put my decimal point there and I'd want it there at 4.2. So that would be times 10 to the power 1. Okay, but I already have that times 10 to the power 4 there. So when I want to multiply indices together, remember I add the indices. So my answer would be 4.2 times 10 to the power 5. Okay, let's look at number 2 and do exactly the same thing. So this time I've got 0.02, all right, so 0.02, and I want to change that into correct standard form. So that means I need my decimal point here at the end of the 2, after the 2. So we go 1, 2, and remember, because it's a smaller number, that means I put the minus sign in front of it because really I'm dividing by 2 to get there. Okay, so now we have that times 10 to the 4 at the end again. And remember, we add the indices. So it's going to be 2 times by 10 minus 2 plus 4 gives me 2. And that's the correct answer. All right, couple more examples. So 225. Going to change this into correct standard form. So 2.25 is where I need to be. So if I look at this, I have to go 1, 2. So times 10 to the power 2. And I've still got on the end times 10 to the minus 1. Okay, so adding those indices together gives me times 10 to the power 1. Okay, and the last one, let's look at this one. We've got 0.08, so I want this to be 8. So again, we go 1, 2, so that's times 10 to the minus 2, times by 10 to the minus 8. Okay, we have to be really careful with negative signs. So minus 2 add minus 8 gives me minus 10. So 8 times by 10 to the minus 10.